Today, we are visiting with artist Billie Davis. Good morning, Billie. How are you?
Good morning, Mary. How are you?
Really good.
Yeah, welcome to where the magic happens. Let's put it like that.
All right. And tell us, what kind of magic are you doing there? What are you making?
Well, I'm making, the name of my angels are Exquisite Angels. And I named them after my granddaughter. Her name is Exquisite. And so I started doing this for many years. This is one I just completed. So actually I'm getting started making one. I've decided to use this fabric that I'm going, well actually this fringe. I can use anything to create something. Sometimes I don't know, I'll see it in the store. I'm like, oh, I can do something with that. And I just pick it up and keep going. But yeah, so today, Spirit says, okay, go and finish up this right here. I was laying in bed. I'm like, oh, okay, what am I going to do today? So this is what I'm doing today. And I'm going to show you the kind of the steps that I go through. Preparation, once we complete the angel, get her kind of how she's going to go. And we always have to have a background on her before we lay anything on if I'm doing something like this. But I can show you.
Speaking of background, tell us a little bit about these angels. Do you make the angels, or where do they come from?
The angels actually come from the Philippines. I tried making them years ago and just didn't work out too good. They kind of fell apart. So I found a company, and they're out of the Philippines. They're made of abaca straw. Now, the abaca straw in the Philippines is used for irrigation, you know, but they also use it to make purses, those little angels that hang on the trees in Christmas times, those straw angels, they call them straw, but they're made of a straw called abaca straw. And so I found this company, and so they shipped them to me. We've had some issues because, you know, back during COVID,
right?
But you know, so we're going forward. I do have quite a few, but so that's the original how they start out. Some come with wings, and some don't come with wings. So today, this one is, but they all are in a praying position. They all are praying. They all of them have they're, you know, in the praying position there. So today, what I do is I find the angel, I lay them all out and say, okay, which one of you guys want to do this today? And it'll just kind of like speaks to me. And so this one today said, do me. So we're going to work with her. We haven't named her or anything. They don't have faces because they're not supposed to. And the people that see them, they're drawn to them. You know, so same thing with me. I look at them and like, you know, what do you want to do today? And she says, okay, mommy, I'm gonna do you. Okay, so we're gonna do you today. They're very personal to me, spiritual wise, because I find so much peace in doing them. And so yeah, it's kind of how that goes. So everything, even all the way down to the fabric, you know, it kind of speaks to me. And you can see I have plenty of fabric. I don't know from what I go into fabric stores and I just buy fabric. You know, I see something that I like and I'll feel on, I'm like, okay, I'll try that one. You know, so I have fabric. I go back to some fabric that I've had for years. I mean, we can start, I have it all, you know, as far as holiday fabric, you know. So yeah. And I enjoy going to the fabric stores. I have to go over to Indiana and Highland now because they've closed everything around me to some of the stores. But I do have a very good friend who has a store, and she's a seamstress. And she gives me a lot of fabric. She said, Billie, don't worry about buying fabric. In fact, she gave me these pieces here. And she says, do something with them. So, you know, so today we're working with this. So, yeah. So, when we first start, like I say, sometimes with this, I'm going to need a background, like a, you know, for something for her to put on, actually, to be able to lay this on, to have, you know.
Right.
So that's what we're doing with her. My glue gun is my friend. Okay, she holds everything together. So what I do is, let's just do it like this. I'll start her like this and be like, okay, it's enough hem there. I can put the hem there. So we'll start it here. I'm going to cut some of this down because that's too much for her. And so I'll cut a little of it off, and then we'll seam it up. Oops. And and then we'll see what happens. So we kind of measure it. It's kind of like my mom. She used to make these wonderful peach cobblers, and they would say, "Okay, Mom, what do you put in them?" She says, "I mean, you got a recipe? No, you just do it." So I just kind of do it, you know. I can't show anybody how to do it, but I just kind of do it. So we just kind of you do it after a while, and you kind of you know, you just have a feel for it. It comes natural. So
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this since 2005.
Okay.
It's really, the story's kind of interesting. I went to a spiritual retreat with a very good friend of mine. Her name was Bishop Diane. And we were going on a women's retreat. And so she was saying to me, she pulled me up to the side and she says, Billie, she said, I got this gift that I thought was for me, that God gave to me. And he told me it was yours. I'm like, okay, she talking to God. I told her, you know. I said, okay. So she showed me, you know, she had an angel. And she showed me the angel. She said, just take it and just put some fabric on it. And I said, put some fabric on. She said, yeah, you know, just buy some fabric. I said, well, what kind of fabric, you know? And so she said, just anything that you feel, just put some fabric on it. So I took her at her word and I decided to put some fabric on it. It was really funny, the first one. I mean, I was like, what am I doing? This is not, God did not give me this gift, okay? This is not working. But as I went along and started playing with them, they started coming to life. I just, you know, I used to just wrap them, you know, and then one day I had made so many of them, and I hung them on the wall, and I said, okay, I got some girlfriends that they're going to tell me the truth. And so I invited them. I said, listen, you guys, I've got this new thing that I'm doing. It's a gift. I want you all to, you know. And they all came over and they loved them and they all bought them. I think I sold them for like $15, something like that, you know. Bought them off the wall, you know, where I had them hanging. Said, Billie, you got something going here. I'm like, okay. So that's the beginning of it. It's really strange. Something me and Bishop Diane, we stay in contact over the years, and I've shown them, and she's just at awe. She said, I told you that was your gift. That God gave you that gift. So
interesting.
Yeah. So yeah. And God, I have sold so many angels, or gifted so many angels, because a lot of times I gift them. They make the perfect gift. You know, birthdays, weddings, just because, you know. And so that's kind of how it all, you know, started. And so here we go. And I have some friends I have one friend who just loved my angels, and she just buys them for herself. She has a whole curio over the years with nothing but my angels in them. So with that, you know, I'm very thankful, you know, for that. At the same time, I do know that it is a gift, and I really do, you know, I don't take it for granted at all. But I enjoy doing it. It's fun. So now this skirt's a little too big. So what we do, we have to kind of cut her down a little bit. So there's some other, you know, you kind of feel your way, like I was saying, seeing how it's going to turn out. She's small in the waist. So what we want to do here is sometimes we have to redo it and have it this way, and then let the seam come that way. So
I see.
You can start out one way and you be like, no, that's not working today. So you just, like I say, you never know how she's going to turn out. But so I am going to give her a little bit of seam there. So this is kind of the, you know, and sometimes, you know, as far as the length of time it takes to make one, oh gosh, sometimes the average is an hour, but sometimes it's been days. I can get stuck and I just have to walk away. And I start another project and I'm like, okay, then it'll come back to me what I need to do. So, you know, I think most artists go through that, you know, if they're starting on something and then they see it and it's not quite coming the way they want. It's a field that we have, you know. And so, yeah. Now I'm going to make her him. It's all in the details. Yeah, so.
That's a recurrent theme from many artists. That's where it's at.
In the detail. People, when they like to see something different. Even when I was a little girl, I used to make stuff. I used to make dolls out of stockings or a sock, or ornaments. I just always, was kind of savvy in that area, being able to create, things. So, and then I think we have this vision we see, and you can see it. Like sometimes I'm laying in bed and I can see the whole angel before I even do it, and I'll get up and come down here and start working on it and let it manifest itself. And sometimes I don't have a clue. And there's times that I have to walk away and just not even do them at all. But for the most part, I love doing it. Sometimes if they're too long or something, that's okay, because we come back and fix stuff up later on. Now, this is kind of a layered type thing, what we do. Okay, so gotta turn it. Okay, let's see what the length of it's going to be. Gotta find the right side and not the wrong side. Start here. And then we're gonna cut it like about here. And we start layering it. Okay. So we start like here. Ooh, here. Okay. Put it over here. Girl, where you go?
So the only pattern you have, so to speak, is what's in your mind?
Yes. That's what's in my mind. I never know how they're going to turn out. I never, I can say, do this again, but it's not going to turn out the same way. Because each angel is different, and each, the way that you put it together becomes different. So you can't really duplicate. You can use the same fabrics, but I promise you, when I'm doing the head wrap, so those are the worst, because not the worst, but those are the more difficult ones, because you can put it. Their heads are different, so you don't know how that fabric is going to fall or anything like that.
So they're pretty much one of a kind, then.
They are one of a kind, absolutely one of a kind, custom design. One of a kind. Yes, ma'am. Truly one of a kind.
How many would you say you make in an average week?
In a week? Maybe about, if I'm, sometimes I can do 2 a day, sometimes, according to the difficulty, but I would say in a week I could make about, maybe 1 a day at least, and maybe 2. So I would say maybe about 10 in a week. I would,
And do you have that as your goal, pretty much, to do 1 a day, or do you do it when time permits?
I don't set a goal on it. Like, I know that I have a event or something coming up. What I do is I do them all the time. So I try to keep my stock up, or my inventory, so that if I have an event, or if, and then when it slows down or something like that, someone may call me and want something, or I just, I just always try to have a supply, because I'm always doing different shows, And I always want to have something because getting behind the 8 ball is just me doing it. So, you know, I can't just not have any on hand, you know. And so, and then, but sometimes I just come down and I just enjoy doing it, you know. You know, I just enjoy creating, you know. So, yeah. I don't know if, does that make sense?
Yes.
So this process goes on. And then I started the next layers like this, and I continue on. Now this will have, and I'm really curious to see how this is going to turn out because it has, like, you know, you can kind of see in between. Maybe you can see in between. I don't know. But when I finish it, it'll have that in between. So we'll see how it's going to go. I just finished her the other day. So we want to layer it to where when they fall, they'll fall like this.
So let's fast forward to at the point where you have all the
everything
dress
together,
made, yes.
Dress made and everything.
So then once you have that made, like with this example that you have here in this one, you decided after you put that together that she needed a shawl?
Oh yeah, that was all, you know. After I put it together, of course she needed a top.
Okay.
So what I did was you could see I used some of the fabric, and actually I made, you know, this is still goes underneath. I make a top, and then that comes over, and then yes, I made a shawl, and so I made the shawl out of the same fabric that's underneath. Now this is the fabric here that possibly I'll make the shawl. It won't be the same. Or I may have enough to just drape it and let her just, I don't know how this is going to, you know.
And so then do most all of them have head wear too?
Yes. They all have headwear. I just did her the other day. Her name is Billie. And I just did her the other day. And I said, matter of fact, was that Miss Bean? I can't think of her first name.
Sharon Bean.
Yeah, Sharon. She said, make a Billie. And I'm like, you know, I wear my natural stuff. So I just did her the other day.
Interesting.
And I love her. She's like 18 inches, 24 inches. And so, you know, I just did that. And
what is the normal size of a doll like this
12 inch. 12
okay.
inches. And they come in, this is a 6x14 shadow box.
And do all of your dolls end up in the shadow box, generally speaking?
Generally speaking, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you would be, in essence, going from that after you've worked on it a while, and the end result is something of this nature.
Yeah. Sometimes I make them before I put them in the shadow box, and I'll kind of just have them, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, if I don't know what to do with them, you know, I'll just, you know.
So, for example, this one, you did the dress, and then you added the rest of it to it.
That's actually leather and actually mink, real mink.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever, the face remains blank?
Face is always blank.
Okay.
One of the other things that I do, let me show you one over here. I want to show you that's completed. That I really, really like. We're over here. I'm going to find her real quick. She's one of my favorites.
And I'm assuming that this little collection over here is getting ready for our art fair?
It's getting ready for the art fair. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It will be at the art fair.
You want to bring her?
Yeah, bring her over here, Lauren. Her name is Umi, which means life. I try to give them, you know, a name.
Okay.
And she's holding a child. Now, this can be for a birthday, Mother's Day.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? You have a new baby. So this is a mother having a baby. Or a birthday. This is the birthday.
I see.
You see? So she is one that I really, I just adore her. She's calm and she gives life. It just speaks volumes, you know. life.
Do you name yours before you
No.
sell them, or?
Well, before I sell them, yeah, before they leave the house, they get a name.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, they get a name. And
So I see you've signed the back of
I
them.
always sign the back of them.
Okay.
I did, this was in the beginning, the end of 2022. That's my business card with all my information, and I give them a name.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. And you see, you can hang them on the wall. This is a little attachment there where you hang them on the wall. So they're like, they are a piece of art, you know?
Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's really amazing, Billie. You've got such a talent there.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's an outstanding job. We look forward to seeing you at the art
Well,
fair.
listen, I can't wait. I'm excited about the art fair. I've always gone to the art fair.
Uh-huh.
And so this will be my first year participating and being a part of the Tallgrass Gallery. That just really blew me away when they accepted me and juried me in, and they said, "We love your angels." That meant a lot. And then
That's
being in
awesome.
the one on August the 5th, you know,
Uh-huh.
where I was able to show and display it.
Oh, the current.
Yes,
So we believe it's anthology.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. That was my very first one. So yeah.
And how did you decide to do the jurying and for the art fair?
Well, I went in, I was at a event, and I met this lady, can't think of her name, and she sells these hats, and we were right next to each other. And so she admired one of my angels, and I admired one of her hats that she was making. And so she said to me, we ended up swapping out because they ran about the same price.
Okay.
Yes. And so she said, you need to be in the art fair that they have in Park Forest. And I said, I've gone to it every year they have it. I said, and I walked up and down. I've always wanted. She said, you ought to just check it out. So, ironically, I decided to Google it, and they were doing a jury thing.
Right.
Okay, and I'm like, what is jury? See, because the language is all new to me also.
Okay.
Okay. I'm like, what is jurying? Okay, well, so I filled out the application. I took some pictures of the angels that I sent in, and it said take about a month or so. So, it went. And then one day I called and I said, I was wondering if you all got, yes, we did. She said, but the problem is, she called me, she said, the problem is they don't, the pictures you show don't really show justice because you bring them in. And I said, sure. And so the ones that I had, I wrapped the girls up and we went
You
marching
took them for a
into
ride.
the gallery. Yeah, we're going to, and they took them, and I'm like, oh, you're going to keep them? You're going to keep them? I'm like, okay, they're going to keep them. Called me, and she says, okay, you can come and pick them up. So I went in, and Kate was there, and I said, okay. I said, she said, well, someone will call you. You will get a letter. She said, but we really liked your angels. So I was like, yeah, they like them. When I got home, the letter was in the mail of acceptance.
Oh, great.
Oh my gosh. And so I was so excited. I was happy. I was like, okay, what do we do now? And Kate has just been my right arm. I called Kate and she said, okay, Billie, you need to do this. So she gave me all these forms, you got to fill out this. You got to do this. You got to do that. So, yeah.
That's great.
That's where I
and
went.
Would it be possible that the name of the hat artist might have been Melvina Stemley?
I think it was. Yes.
Because
absolutely.
she's a frequent attendee exhibitor at our Tallgrass Arts, so
there you go.
I'm glad that she told you about it.
Yes, I can't wait to see her because we do the Oktoberfest together, and I was going to tell her I am in, girl. I got in. Thank you. And she's the one that suggested go on and they should be in a museum. They should be in an art gallery. You should try it out. You can be in the art fair. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I owe her. We did that little bordering thing. But she makes some beautiful hats.
Yes, she does.
So yeah, she's the reason that kind of pushed it.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your art with us this morning and taking the time to explain this on. As I see all these cute dolls on the wall, and I'm thinking, that's pretty interesting.
Yes.
And then watching you make them, it's quite a Looks like, well,
Yes.
to me, quite a job. To you,
It
it's
is.
probably nothing at this point. You've gotten used to it, but
I've gotten used to it, but it can be a challenge sometimes. It is a challenge. It's nothing that I can sit down and just whip it out. No, because
and
it
no
is a
instruction manual that
no
told you how to do it.
manual, no. I've had people say, "Well, can you?" I said, I am not a manufacturer, and actually, no one can duplicate it. This is something that I do.
Right.
So I constantly do this. So, like I was saying, so that I will have some inventory, so that I will be able to present them.
But you take commission work, like when
Yes,
someone wants something.
When someone wants something, oh, absolutely. I have a lot of commission work. Yeah, people
Right.
call me and say, "Okay, Billie, I've got a good friend. My girlfriend, a friend in Oklahoma, just says, okay, so and so's birthday is this, and so and so's birthday is this. So I want one for this, And so I write it down, and they'll call me, and I ship them out to them. They give me plenty of time, So, but it truly is a labor of love and an amazing gift that I don't take for granted.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully when you finish this little girl, we'll see her at the art
We'll
fair.
see her at the art fair.
And we'll see your finished product.
Yes,
well,
you will.
thank you so much.
Thank
We appreciate
you
your
again,
time.
Mary.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.